very much for coming today. At least it stayed dry. The sun has gone in, but it's not raining just yet. Just so you know what we're going to do, we've got a few speeches outside of here, and then we're going inside to unveil a plaque, and then there's refreshments and cake available for everybody. But first I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce the leader of Cumbria County Council, Eddie Martin, who's going to say a few words.
Thank you very much. I seem to be spending an awful lot of time in Kirkby Stephen this last 3 or 4 months. That is absolutely superb, and I'm very pleased to do so. I last saw this a few weeks ago with Joan, and it certainly didn't look like this. It was only half done. Last week I was in Kirkby Stephen for the Upper Eden Community Project, and then I was in Kirkby Stephen for, I've forgotten what it was. David, what was the other thing? Oh, it never doesn't matter. Oh, the parish council, Eden Parish Council, which is also spectacular. And there is no doubt about it, there's a certain, I don't know, vibrancy, a sort of dynamism in Kirkby Stephen, which I commend to all 269 villages throughout Cumbria. And it's really great to see the community beginning to plot its course and what it wants to do. Now, without being party political, there are those at Westminster who think localism is the in thing. When they tell us what localism means, then we'll maybe be able to agree with them. What I do think is important is that local communities are able to plan and dictate and shape their future. You don't need the county council, well, some of the time you do, and you don't need Westminster, well, some of the time you do. But most of the time, local people are best placed to shape those local facilities. So this morning, despite the fact that the train was late, and for which I apologise, not that I could do anything about it, but it was late, the 1.5 mile footpath to the railway station was opened. That was great, because otherwise people had to walk along the main road, carrying their bags with no pavements. Now there's a footpath. Then we come down to the old grammar school. £550,000 later, we have a multi-purpose, multi-service, multi-agency local links. I think we've got, and Sarah or the chief exec will tell me, I think we've got 13 or 14 local links. And we do need many more. The idea of one-stop shops is not new. They've been around for a long time. Actually making them, putting them into practice was much more difficult. So here, for example, we had to raise £250,000 from the Sure Start funding. County Council raised another £250,000, and it's cost about £550,000. But money well spent. And if you haven't had a tour of the inside, you must do so, because it truly is very impressive. So here we've saved an old, very old building falling into disuse. We've resurrected it with your help, particularly with your help, and now it'll be there for a long time to come. I do want to thank all those people who've been involved in its resurrection. I'd particularly like to pay tribute to a friend and colleague of mine, Tim Stoddard, you will remember, who launched many of this, the funding, the idea of the footpath, the idea of the resurrecting the old grammar school into local links. Then Tim Stoddard was certainly very much at the heart of it all many years ago. So I do want to congratulate all concerned. I think it's also particularly pertinent that, as you know, we are currently conducting a library review. I'm told that this library, on average, probably has 36 to 40,000 visitors a year. I can check those figures, it doesn't matter. The fact is, the library here is very well used. But we also have the town council, and in a moment I'll ask Joan to speak. So all the town council services are here as well. When I came last time, it was actually a bit of a job centre as well. I don't know whether there still is a notice board, Joan, with jobs in the area. And you could look at the notice board, fantastic. So we have a job centre, a library, and I'm really pleased that we are now opening another Sure Start centre. I'm particularly pleased because you will have read in the press that many, many councils responsible for children's services are actually closing Sure Start centres. We took a deliberate decision. We would not only would we not close down Sure Start centres. They're a lifeline, in many cases, truly, a lifeline to many young mums and dads and others and the children. We're actually opening a part-time children's centre, Sure Start centre here. And I'm really pleased about that. That is terrific. So, if you take the Upper Eden Community Project, for example, where 17 parishes have come together, centred on a service centre like Kirby Stephen, that seems to me the way that Cumbria, particularly the rural part, but not only, that's the way I think we should be governing Cumbria. Letting local people determine what is best, and the county council and indeed the Eden District Council helping out wherever they can. And again, I should and I must pay tribute to Eden District Council, who've been very supportive in this venture. So, if it was a ship, I'd smash a champagne bottle. It's not a ship, but I say to all who sail in her, bon voyage. It's a wonderful thing to have. And let me turn you over to the chairman of the Town Council, Joan Johnson. Thank you.
Those words. May I, on behalf of Kirby Stephen Town Council, add my welcome to you all this morning.
I can't hear you.
As Eddie has said, local links concept is not new to Kirby Stephen. The Community and Council Centre, along with the library, have been providing many of the vital services needed in this rural area very successfully for over 12 years. Now Children's Services have joined the above with their Children's Centre. What is new going forward is them all coming together under the Local Links banner in this splendid restored building that for many years had become redundant and neglected. Indeed, guests with us today who attended the girls' grammar school must marvel at the transformation. Everyone involved in the work to bring this historic building into a modern-day facility must be congratulated. The planners, the design team, the builders, county council officers, our county councillor Peter Thornton and members of the town council and local management group have spent many hours on this project, but I'm sure you will all agree that it's been worthwhile, with the finished building a place to be justly proud of. Just as the building has taken many months of planning, so has the structure of the management and staffing of this local links. At this present time, the library staff are employed by the county council, community and council centre staff by the town council, children's services will be provided by Bernardo's, and this arrangement, although different to other local links, is right for Kirby Stephen. The local links needs local management in order to continue to provide the services that are needed to the people of the Upper Eden Valley, be it children's, county council, district, town council and community services. The management must reflect all these bodies working in partnership. The staff, Jane, Sue, Jennifer, Michelle and Jeanette, our town clerk, are committed to providing the highest level of service and have proved their dedication by keeping things going during the move, for which I thank them. The county officers, Deborah Turner, Mike Lister, Sarah Turnbull and Deborah P. I can never pronounce. There we go. Have supported and worked with us on the ground. I know at times they must have thought we're a determined lot in Kirby Stephen, and they all know how passionate and past chairs like Sheila Hockey are about maintaining and enhancing local services. But they've kept faith with us to achieve the right outcomes. Sorry. Thank you to the County Council for this large investment in Kirby Stephen at this difficult financial time, as all we hear about is cuts to budgets. And I would ask the county and district authorities to continue funding this local link. Thank you to all the officers from the county and district councils involved in this project. To my fellow councillors, past and present, especially Alex Birtles, who chairs the management committee. To members of the management group, for their commitment to the centre, and without whose presence we would not be able to draw down extra funding from outside bodies. To Councillor Peter Thornton, to District Councillors Glenys Lumley, He's still a district councillor, Glenys, because you've been supporting this all along, and Trevor Laddams and all our user groups. This partnership must and will work to the benefit of locals, and it only remains for me to say to the people of Kirby Stephen and area, use this wonderful new local link centre and make it an ever-continuing success. Thank you.
Few words from local councillor Peter Thorne, if you'd like to step forward to the community.
This is a very special moment for me. I've lived with this for a long time. Can I welcome our guests, first of all? Eddie Martin, John Woolley, Chairman, Jill Stannard, Chief Executive, and Duncan Fairbairn, Portfolio Holder for Children's Services. And I believe that we have some ladies here who used to come to the grammar school. Where are they? Are they still here? Yeah, there's Joyce here and attended here, we won't say how many years ago, but it was a few, wasn't it? Some of you had the privilege of walking into Kirby Stephen today, and it's something that more and more visitors are doing, especially now we have this station walk footpath. And I'm sure you're all aware that we're on the coast-to-coast walking route here, and walking is more of a feature than ever of Kirby Stephen. Someone asked me on the way down, they said, is it a town or a village? Now, it actually depends on which competition we're trying to win. Well, I've been county councillor here for just over 2 years, and it is fair to say this council centre has really dominated those 2 years. And it hasn't always been easy. Kirby Stephen, the rest of you guys, is somewhere that doesn't take happily to solutions being landed on it. It does everything the Kirby way, and that's what makes this place unique. And then, of course, in the middle of all this, we had the launch of the Big Society. And the eyes of the whole country turned onto Kirby Stephen to see how we did things here. And you know, I think that Big Society hasn't changed Kirby Stephen, but I think Kirby Stephen has changed the Big Society. And that's the key. And finally, here we are at the opening of this magnificent new Council Link Centre. And as always, thanks are due to a lot of people, and the Town Council, chaired by Joan, have been tremendous for this. Let's be honest, this move hasn't been completely welcomed by all the residents of Kirby Stephen over the last 2 years. And the County Council have been at the sharp end. They've been answering the questions and batting back the issues. And they've had to stick with it, and they have, and they've worked patiently along the way. And they've shown how it's possible to mesh together 3 councils, a library and a children's centre. We've got to thank the staff, very much in the front line, especially Jane and Jennifer. Moving into a new building is always stressful, and they've coped manfully. I'm allowed to say manfully? All right, they've coped manfully with a host of issues that I hope are mainly, but not all, solved by now. They've also got a new working environment, and that brings its own challenges. Thank you to them all. And of course, Deborah and Sarah. Where are they? There they are. Let's be honest about this. There's been difficult moments, hasn't there? Yeah. The people here have a habit of wanting everything to be done exactly right, and wanting maximum value for money, and why not? And of course the County Council does have at its heart a similar ethos, but the two organisations do work in different ways, and Deborah and Sarah have had to adapt to the Kirby Stephen way of doing things. I think we can all agree that they've got most of the way there, and that the result of this partnership is outstanding. Thank you very much, both of you. Let's give them a quick check. I just remember one meeting. It's about almost 2 years ago in what I call the upper room above the TIC. And this was at the point where the whole thing was up in the air. There was about 20,000 options. There was maps and plans everywhere and figures for everything. And we sat there just in, well, I won't say confusion, but in a state of flux. And every meeting we went to came up with more rather than less options for Kirby Stephen. And it was a tricky time. And I remember Sarah going around the room and saying, look, each one of you, just tell me what's the best for Kirby Stephen. Not the County Council or anything else, what's the best for Kirby Stephen? And every one of them came up with this issue. And then I pinned Sarah down and I said, Sarah, you've been closest to this project. And I want you to guarantee that when we come to the grand opening with the brass band and the red arrows, they came earlier, did you notice? They were over there early. I want you to guarantee that I want to be there cutting the ribbon. Well, I am and I do. So thank you, Sarah. So thanks for sticking with the project, and thanks for not letting Eddie know how much it cost until fairly recently.
100% behind it.
Thank you.
Claiming it back. You do
So just to sum up finally, what we have here is a superb example of partnership working at its best. I'm incredibly proud to be involved in this project and to be here at the opening, but this is just the start. And now the people of Kirkby Stephen are going to take this building and they're going to mould it into what the local community want in Kirkby Stephen. And I hope our guests will feel they can drop in any time they're passing to see what Kirkby Stephen have made of this link centre. Thank you very much.
We're going to move inside. We've got a small plaque to unveil, but feel free to stay outside. The refreshments are here, there's tea, there's cake, and then we're just going to do some photo opportunities. So thank you very much for coming again.